Barbers have absolutely no idea at all how to price themselves. They're either charging too little or they're trying to raise their prices way too quick and just completely go broke altogether. Probably the most common question I get is, how do I charge more? How do I increase my prices as a barber? So in the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna be going over for you guys literally everything you need to know about how to charge more, why you're not able to charge more, and exactly how there are barbers out here charging $100 like myself and still pulling in clients. Stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm gonna expose literally everything for you guys completely for free. What is good, YouTube? In this video, as you guys saw, I'm going to be going over literally the entire comprehensive guide on how to raise your prices as a barber, how to charge more. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Now, the first biggest thing is just so many barbers do all the wrong things when it comes to pricing themselves, price increases, how much to charge. They think I can't charge too much in this area, there's too much competition in the area, or they raise prices too quickly, or they're afraid to raise prices too quickly, right? Or they're just too worried about charging a fair price. So in this video, we're going to debunk all of that for you guys. And just so you guys can see that I'm not just saying this just to say it, and I actually have the results to back it up. I actually have the numbers to back it up. My guy Nick went from $40 a haircut to $60 a haircut in a small town in Idaho in just 3 weeks. He was able to go from less than 2K a month to 8K a month in 3 months, and he booked 141 new clients as well at that price. My guy Palermo is consistently booking clients at $100 a cut and making over $1,000 a day. Same thing with my guy Yusuf, who went from $15 a cut to $100 a cut in 1 year. My guy Bryant was able to scale to a 10K a month. And my guy David went from 40 a cut to 125 per cut in literally about 8 months. Right, and myself, of course, went from 25 a cut to $100 a cut in just over a year. And when it comes to increasing your prices as a barber, it's really just going to be 3 categories that we look at. The first thing is, how can you increase value without having to add extra services or work longer hours? Second thing is going to be, how can I serve one niche and be the best at solving one specific problem? And the last thing is going to be, how can I price myself in a market to where I'm actually competitive and going to be different than anybody else? The first biggest thing that you have to start realizing as a barber who wants to charge more is that you need to learn how to increase value without having to add services. Because instead of working harder, instead of working longer hours, instead of just doing more haircuts, you can increase the value of your service without having to add anything on top of it. You can increase little things in the service that you're already doing to make it seem more valuable, to have it easier to justify, charging a higher price, or to have clients have a better time justifying paying a bigger amount. The biggest thing that limits people is themselves. People think my cuts aren't good enough to charge more, or I feel bad charging more for the same haircut. The reason that this is limiting so many barbers is because they themselves are holding themselves back. These negative thoughts in your mind are just keeping you from even assuming you want to charge more. But let's say you're able to get past this. Right? People don't understand that price as a barber is not determined by your skill level. Think about any other $1 million corporation, any big business. They don't charge based on how good the quality of their work is or how long they've put their work out there for, although it does play a factor. And the last thing is, barbers always want to just impress other barbers. But what you have to realize is that these clients don't have the barber eye. They're not looking for a perfect haircut where everything's with contour and pencil and all enhanced and a barber competition haircut. They're simply just looking to walk out of the shop feeling confident. This is why solving one specific problem and serving one niche will always be doing the perfect haircut when it comes to charging a lot. So you guys heard me talk about how to add value to your haircut, but how can you actually add value to your haircut? Well, just a few examples. If you specifically target one problem and solve that problem, like a weak hairline, patchy beard, or just teach your client how to style their hair during the haircut, more specifically, anything that you listen to and fix is going to add value to the haircut. Any little thing like straight flat hair that you can fix is going to add value. Any little particular thing, like maybe they have straight flat hair and you can fix that, that is going to add value automatically to your service. Because the truth is, consistency creates trust. And this doesn't have to be with the same client multiple times. It can even be through a client seeing you do the same transformation on your page over and over again. When a client can trust you before they even sit in the chair, that creates insane amount of trust, which means you can instantly charge more money just because you're having clients trust you to follow through with your service before they even sit down in the chair or even book an appointment with you. Because the truth is, you can charge more without having to work more. Value over the amount of time worked any day. The second thing that you must understand if you want to increase your prices the right way as a barber is that you must know how to serve one niche and be the best at one thing. I just touched on this, but there's 2 types of barbers, right? There's a guy that blends himself in. He's like, oh, I want to price just like everybody else because everyone else in my area charges this, so I'm just gonna go a little bit below. And that just puts you into the category of like a generalist barber. What do I mean by generalist? Well, it means the generalist has to compete on price because he just blends into the market. He gets commoditized. What does it mean to be commoditized? It means that someone views your service as almost interchangeable with somebody else. You're expendable. You don't stand out in any type of way because you don't specialize in anything. You're just seen as a market commodity. So by trying to price yourself similarly to everybody else, it just forces higher competition. Even think about an easy example like designer brands, Ferrari, Lamborghini, stuff like that. Their only competitors are each other because of how high priced they are. Ferrari is really only competing with Porsche and Lamborghini because those are the only real vehicles or automotive settlers that are in that price range. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, those are like the two biggest competitors, is because nobody else who is shopping for that is at the same time looking for something that's more, affordable. There's the people who are looking for affordability, and there's the people who are looking for higher price, perceived quality, and just higher brand. So this idea of I'm going to be everyone's barber, or I'm going to be the most versatile barber, I'm going to do as many haircuts as I can, and I'm just going to be the barber that charges what everyone can afford so I can get as many clients as possible. This drastically lowers your demand because it makes you expendable. It makes you not valuable at all, because the guy who's a jack of all trades, the guy who's like doing everything, he's good at nothing. He's a specialist in nothing. And the thing is, when you have a general market like that, where you're being commoditized, the only thing you're going to attract is price shoppers, which is people who are looking for the cheapest price. They will leave you for the next cheapest barber. As soon as you raise the price, they're dipping out of there. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this throughout your business career. On the other hand, the barber who's a specialist and knows how to niche in one area is competing on value. Right? Who can attract the most pre-sold clients, building trust from content before they even sit in the chair? Who can actually be the best in the area at one specific skill? Who can be the go-to for someone that has a patchy beard? Who can be the go-to for someone that has a receding hairline or has issues with their hairline? Right? If you can monopolize the market and become somebody who is the go-to for one specific problem, everybody in the area with that problem is automatically going to come to you. So versus the generalist barber, the specialist, this guy has way higher trust. He's attracting pre-sold clients, and as a result, he's not seen as expendable. He's seen as a one-of-one, able to charge way more within the market. This idea is called positioning. And at the end of the day, right, having one problem just simplifies your marketing. All you have to do is focus on solving one specific problem instead of trying to compete with as many people as you can. The last thing that you must understand if you want to charge more is that your area is no way determining your price. Geography doesn't cap income, and marketing will always be the location. Take Larry, for example. He's in a small town of Bloomington, Illinois, with only like a couple, 10,000, 20,000 people, but he's still charging $100 a cut. He's able to attract people coming into his town. Or Daniel Jasso, who we just signed. He's continuously able to attract high-paying clients, charging $75 in Sheboygan, Illinois, another place that nobody's ever really heard of. Or even Nick, who's in Caldwell, Idaho, attracting people from other states, driving into Caldwell just to get a haircut by him and pay $60 for that haircut because they see the transformations he does. They see how they specialize in turning flat hair into textured hair and covering big forehead. If your marketing is really good, it should not matter what location you're in, and you should be able to print money literally from across the world. Take my guy Matthew Fisher, for example. Fisher Fades moved from Virginia to Savannah, Georgia for school. Completely restarted his entire clientele, had 0 clients, but because he knew how to market himself and he knew how to become a monopoly in the area, he was able to rebuild in 2 to 3 months over the course of one semester and get fully booked out. Hit a $7,000 a month, charging $60 a cut. And when he left there, he had no clients and was charging $40. People underestimate how important marketing is and how quickly you can grow a business in any location just by being very good at marketing. The one takeaway you must learn is that your town, a small town, is not going to mean low income. And just because you're in a larger city, it doesn't automatically mean that you're going to be making more, right? If anything, it just means more competition. But people will always drive for the right barber. Lastly, you must understand that when you market yourself, you are not targeting specific people. People are like, oh, I want to target with my marketing, I want to target older people because I'm gonna make more, I'm gonna be able to charge more. Dude, older people aren't just gonna pay you more because they're older. There's older people that only want to pay $15 for a haircut, and there's middle schoolers that are willing to pay $100 for a haircut, which is why you must target problems and not people. You're not targeting rich people, you're not targeting older people. This is not how you make more money as a barber. You're targeting a specific bubble with a specific problem. If you have like a bunch of people right here, these are like the old people. What do they have in common? Okay, they're in a certain age group. Versus you have all these people here in this square, and out of all these people, let's say a couple of them have problems with flat hair. Boom, boom, all these people. When you target all these people in this location, everybody that has this problem is automatically going to be drawn to your marketing. And the last thing is that people will always budget for what they value. We all know the broke person that always wants to buy designer. We all know the person that, is working like barely able to pay the bills, but they'll always find the budget to go out to eat or whatever the case might be. At the end of the day, people will budget for what they value. So if people value a good haircut, they will fit you into their budget. You don't need to cut millionaires all the time just to charge $100 per haircut. You don't need to only cut old people. There's no secret sauce. There's no secret cheat code. You just need to be really good at marketing. You just need to understand how to actually, sell a product that people are willing to buy, make yourself look really value, and actually provide the value when people come. Give a good service, give a good fulfillment, and make sure that these people are coming back. High value problems will always attract high paying clients. Think about how many of you guys have problems with your clients that are like, I just have like one side being uneven or whatever the case. These are low value problems. When you do your marketing, you always want to look for a high value problem. Flat straight hair. They don't like the texture of their hair. They don't know how to style their hair. They have a receding part or like something that's genetical, right? Like they can't control something that's genetic. Like they can't control having a patchy beard. They can't control having a receding hairline. There's literally nothing they can do about it unless a barber can solve the problem for them, and in which case they'll be willing to pay a very high ticket. The last thing that you must understand is that pricing yourself the same as everyone else is not going to get you as far as pricing yourself differently than everybody else. Why do I say this? When I first went up to $100 a cut, I was nervous because I literally thought, okay, nobody else in this area is charging $100 a cut. I'm literally going to be the only one charging $100 a cut in my entire area. But what that meant was that it almost became easier to attract people. Being booked obviously doesn't mean that you're successful, because if you're booked and you're broke, that's still business failure. Obviously, more clients doesn't equal more money. The real lever that you need to worry about pulling is time, because at the end of the day, time is more valuable than any money. Is your business automated? Do you have freedom? Can you take a day off? As I said, pricing is the fastest growth lever. And what I mean by growth lever is, what is the change you can make in your business? What is the lever you can pull to increase your income? Well, as a barber, you literally have two options. If you want to make more money, you either have to work longer hours and do more haircuts, or just increase your price. It's one or the other. Those are the only two options you have. And again, you can, increase your bookings. You can increase your availability and get even more booked out or do more haircuts. But at the end of the day, you don't have more time. You'll never have more time. So what does that leave us with? That leaves us with, okay, if we don't want to, cut, if we're already cutting 60 hours a week, we can't go up on time anymore. The only lever we can pull is the price lever, because the volume cuts per week can only go up so much. That's the one thing that's capped. You know what isn't capped? The price that we charge. Raising prices instantly increases your income while also lowering the amount of time that you have to work. Think about it. If you're doing the same work, charging a higher price, you're going to be making more money while working less hours, generating you more free time, which is the most valuable thing. At the end of the day, what we want here is freedom. Freedom comes from having time. Time is the most valuable thing. So if we can even make the same as we were making at a different price while working less hours and freeing up an extra 10 hours a week, that's more valuable to me than anything else. The last couple things you must understand is that emotional attachment to your clients is going to kill growth, right? If you mix friends, business together, and you're too worried to raise your prices because you're afraid of losing clients, right, or you feel guilty about it, you have to understand that these business decisions like price, they must stay logical. They must come from only numbers, and literally only numbers. New client flow, booking percentage, how much money do you have saved? All these things go into play when you're looking at how much you should charge as a barber. And again, premium pricing is going to completely eliminate your competition. When I went up to $100, I became the only barber in the area charging $100, which means that people see the price and they instantly see you as the authority. Think about it like this. There's clients out there that are used to paying $80 to $100 per haircut, and they're only looking to pay $80 to $100 per haircut. And if they see a barber that isn't charging that much, they're just going to automatically disqualify them and be like, bro, this guy isn't charging what he's worth. This guy isn't good enough. I'm looking for someone in the market. My budget is 80 to 100. And you're instantly disqualifying yourself from tapping into a whole nother market because you just want to charge what everybody else is. Not only this, but for you as a barber, higher prices are obviously going to filter better clients. Everybody knows that the clients that pay more, they're less picky, they tip more, they show up on time, never really have any issues with them. Plus, you're just going to get more value out of the conversations. You're not going to be doing small talk, you're not just going to be gossiping. You're probably going to get a lot of value out of these people because, they're paying for the service, they respect it a lot, and they're going to actually come in here and, not waste your time. And these clients are more so looking for long-term relationships. A lot of these clients aren't looking to come once. They're looking for someone that's reliable, that they can consistently come to on a reliable basis. Again, less competition is going to exist at the higher prices because there's only so many people in your area charging that price. Instead of thinking like, okay, no one in my area charges this, realize that nobody in your area is charging this. You're about to tap into a market that nobody has ever charged. You're about to tap into a market that nobody has ever tapped into before. So if you guys take all these concepts and actually apply them into your business like I have, and not only like I have, but like Chunk, Nick, all these other people that you guys see have into their business, I promise you guys are gonna see some really good results. Understand that price as a barber isn't determined by how much you feel like you're worth. It's not determined by what other barbers say. It's not determined by how long you've been cutting. If that was the case, I would have never been able to charge what I charge. None of these people would. Understand that barbering is like any other business, and so in order to charge more and make more as a barber, we don't have to get better at cutting hair. We have to get better at running our business. That's pretty much the end of the video. Hopefully you guys found it valuable. That pretty much wraps up the video, guys. Hopefully you guys found it pretty valuable. As always, if you guys want to figure out how we implement these strategies directly into your business, as well as how I've worked with all the other clients you've seen to get these results, go ahead and click the link in the bio to find out more, see how we can work with you one-on-one, or if we could even help out.